Picture this. You wake up tomorrow and your entire life's work is gone. Everything you've built, everything you've worked for, vanished in an instant. Your business collapses, your savings disappear, your reputation crumbles. How would you react? Would you scream? Would you break down? Would you feel like the universe has personally wronged you? Most of us would crumble, but there was a man who faced exactly this scenario and chose a different path. A path that would change the world forever. In the city of Cyprus in 300 BC, there lived a wealthy trader named Zeno. This man had everything: riches, success, a thriving business. He was living the ancient equivalent of the dream life. But during a voyage from Phoenicia, disaster struck. His boat sank. Not just the boat, but everything inside it. His entire cargo, his wealth, his livelihood, all swallowed by the merciless sea. Imagine being Zeno in that moment. Everything you've worked for, gone. Not because of something you did wrong, not because you made a bad decision, simply because the forces of nature decided your fate. One moment you're a successful merchant, the next you're standing on a beach with nothing but the clothes on your back. This single event, completely beyond anyone's control, transformed a wealthy man into a poor one in an instant. But here's where the story gets extraordinary. Instead of falling into despair, instead of cursing the gods or wallowing in self-pity, Zeno did something remarkable. He saw this catastrophe not as an ending, but as a beginning. He started reading. He discovered the works of Socrates and other great philosophers, and from this devastating loss, he created something that would endure for over 2,000 years. He founded Stoicism. But Stoicism isn't what most people think it is. When we hear the word Stoic today, we imagine someone who's emotionally numb, someone who doesn't feel pain or joy. That's not what Stoicism is about. The original Stoics weren't emotionless robots. They were people who felt everything just as deeply as anyone else. The difference was in how they chose to respond to those feelings. Zeno's great insight was simple, yet profound. While we can't control what happens to us, we have complete control over how we respond to what happens to us. This isn't just philosophical theory. This is practical wisdom that can transform your life. Think about the last time you got caught in the rain without an umbrella. You probably weren't devastated, annoyed maybe, but not destroyed. Why? Because you expect rain. You know it's part of life. Rain isn't personal, it's just weather. The Stoics teach us to approach all of life's challenges with this same perspective. The philosophy Zeno created wasn't meant to be hidden away in ivory towers. The Stoics taught in public spaces because they believed this wisdom could benefit everyone. And they were right. Some of history's most remarkable figures were Stoics. Epictetus, who started life as a slave but became one of philosophy's greatest teachers. Seneca, a powerful statesman who influenced emperors. Marcus Aurelius, who literally was an emperor, one of the most powerful men who ever lived. These weren't just philosophers sitting around debating abstract concepts. These were real people facing real challenges, using Stoic principles to navigate the complexities of life. They prove that Stoicism works whether you're at the bottom of society or at the very top. But here's what makes Stoicism revolutionary. In a world obsessed with external validation, with having more, being more, achieving more, Stoicism offers a different path. It teaches us that our happiness doesn't depend on what we have or what happens to us. It depends on how we choose to think about what we have and what happens to us. This is more relevant today than ever. We're constantly bombarded with messages telling us we need the latest gadgets, the perfect body, the ideal relationship, the dream job, to be happy. Social media feeds us a constant stream of other people's highlight reels, making us feel inadequate if our lives don't measure up. We're told that success is measured by our bank account, our follower count, our status symbols. But the Stoics understood something profound. When you base your happiness on external things, you're essentially handing control of your emotional well-being to forces outside yourself. And those forces will always let you down eventually. Cars break down, houses get destroyed by natural disasters, relationships end, jobs disappear, health fails. Even the things that seem most stable can vanish overnight. But there's one thing that can never be taken from you unless you give it away: your ability to choose your response to whatever life throws at you. This is what the Stoics called the dichotomy of control. It's the most important concept in Stoic philosophy. You need to clearly separate what you can control from what you cannot control. Then focus all your energy on what you can control and accept what you cannot. Let me give you a modern example. Say you're a content creator on YouTube. You can control the quality of your videos, how much effort you put into your scripts, how well you edit, how engaging your thumbnails are. But once you hit upload, you've lost control. Whether the algorithm promotes your video, whether it goes viral or gets buried, whether people like it or hate it, that's all beyond your control. Most creators judge their success by views, subscribers, comments, but those are largely outside their control. A Stoic creator would judge success differently. Did I put in my best effort? Did I create something I'm proud of? Did I improve from my last video? These are the metrics that matter because these are the metrics you control. This shift in perspective is transformative. Instead of being at the mercy of external circumstances, you become the captain of your own ship. You're no longer playing a game where the rules keep changing and you have no power. You're playing a game where you make the rules. But Stoicism goes deeper than just changing your perspective. It's built on 4 fundamental virtues that create a framework for living well: wisdom, courage, temperance, and justice. Wisdom is the ability to see things clearly, to distinguish between what's internal and what's external, to understand that between every stimulus and response, there's a space where you have the power to choose. As Viktor Frankl, a Holocaust survivor, said, in that space lies our freedom and our power to choose our response. Courage isn't the absence of fear, it's persistence in the face of difficulty and resistance to temptation. 2 words capture this perfectly: persist and resist. Persist in doing what's right, even when it's hard. Resist the urge to give up when things get tough. Temperance is moderation. It's doing more with less. In a world where billionaires compete to see who can accumulate the most wealth, Stoics believe the goal should simply be having what's essential and then having what's enough. It's not about depriving yourself. It's about recognizing that after a certain point, more stuff doesn't make you happier. Justice is perhaps the most important virtue. It teaches that we should harm no one because we were all born to help each other, not just ourselves. This isn't just about being nice. It's about recognizing our fundamental interconnectedness. Nelson Mandela embodied this perfectly. After spending 27 years in prison for fighting apartheid, when he was finally released and became president of South Africa, many expected him to seek revenge against his oppressors. Instead, he chose reconciliation. He had read Marcus Aurelius in prison and embraced Stoic principles. He understood that the past was beyond his control, and the only thing he could do was work toward building a better future. This is the power of Stoic thinking. It doesn't just help you cope with difficulties, it transforms how you see the world entirely. Modern psychology has recognized this power. Cognitive behavioral therapy and rational emotive behavioral therapy are both based on Stoic principles. These therapies help people identify negative thought patterns that create emotional distress. They teach you to challenge those thoughts with logic and replace them with healthier, more productive beliefs. It's exactly what the Stoics were teaching over 2,000 years ago. But knowing these principles intellectually isn't enough. Like any skill, Stoicism requires practice. The ancient Stoics had specific exercises to train their minds. One was called Voluntary Discomfort. They would deliberately put themselves in uncomfortable situations to build mental resilience. Sleep on the floor instead of your bed. Take cold showers. Eat simple food for a few days. The point isn't to punish yourself. It's to prove to yourself that you can handle discomfort, that you're stronger than you think, that your happiness doesn't depend on perfect external conditions. When you practice voluntary discomfort, you're building your psychological immune system. You're preparing for the inevitable challenges life will throw at you. And when those challenges come, instead of being devastated, you'll be ready. This doesn't mean becoming emotionally numb. Stoics feel joy, sadness, frustration, excitement, just like everyone else. The difference is they don't let those emotions control their decisions. They feel the emotion, acknowledge it, and then choose their response based on their values rather than their impulses. In our modern world of instant gratification and constant stimulation, this kind of emotional regulation is more valuable than ever. We're surrounded by things designed to trigger our emotions and manipulate our behavior. Social media algorithms, advertising, even news cycles are all designed to keep us in a state of emotional reactivity. Stoicism offers an antidote. It teaches you to step back, breathe, and respond rather than react. To make decisions based on wisdom rather than impulse. To find peace not in controlling your circumstances, but in controlling your response to your circumstances. This philosophy has helped people navigate everything from personal tragedies to global catastrophes. Because life will always be unpredictable. Bad things will happen to good people. Plans will fail, hearts will break, dreams will be shattered. But in every one of these situations, you have a choice. You can be a victim of circumstances, or you can be the author of your response. You can let external events determine your internal state, or you can maintain your inner citadel regardless of what's happening outside. The Stoics understood that this inner citadel, this core of who you are, is the only thing that truly belongs to you. Everything else is borrowed. Your health, your wealth, your relationships, even your life itself can be taken away at any moment. But your character, your values, your response to adversity, these remain yours until your last breath. When you truly grasp this, when you internalize this wisdom, you become undefeatable. Not because nothing bad will ever happen to you, but because you'll be prepared for whatever does happen. You'll have the tools to find meaning in suffering, strength in adversity, and peace in chaos. Like Zeno, standing on that beach after losing everything, you'll understand that every ending is also a beginning. Every setback is an opportunity to practice virtue. Every challenge is a chance to prove to yourself what you're really made of. This is what it means to become undefeatable through Stoicism. Not invulnerable to pain, but capable of transforming pain into wisdom. Not immune to loss, but able to find gain in every loss. Not protected from life's storms, but skilled at navigating through them to calmer waters. And if your ship does sink, if everything you've built does come crashing down, you can face that ending with dignity and peace, knowing that you lived well, you chose wisely, and you remain true to your principles until the very end. Because in the end, that's all any of us can control, and it's everything we need. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to help us continue bringing you these thoughts and principles. May you have a growth-filled and challenging day.